Hello, 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 my little maniacs. This is your host, the Maniacs Gaming. Come back at you with another video. In today's video, we're gonna be breaking down the Panthers versus Buccaneers game today. Let's get it. So this game will be played at 1 o'clock today in Tampa Bay. So last week, the Buccaneers unfortunately lost to the Cowboys 26-24 on Sunday Night Football, in which their offense couldn't get a drive till the end of the game, and their defense couldn't get a stop till the second half of the game when the offense couldn't do much. It was just a lot of offensive inconsistencies. The defense letting people get wide open. It was not a lot of good for the Bucs last week. Obviously, Bucky looked all right. The limited we used him. Mike looked good, but overall it was just not a great performance for the Tampa Bay. And the Panthers beat the Cardinals 36-30 in an overtime thriller, in which their offense was dead for the second half pretty much after going up early on the Cardinals, and their defense almost let the Cardinals come back. And if it wasn't for critical plays in the fourth quarter and overtime, the Cardinals might have won this game in regulation. So shout out the Panthers defense for coming up clutch when they needed them to, and the offense for not stalling out when they needed them the most. So injuries for the Bucs. Cade is out with his knee injury still. AWJ still out with his sprain. Britt, I believe, is still questionable. Mike Edwards is expected to play. Then we also got Whitehead, who is back, activated from IR. He is expected to play. Cameron Johnson, who is also back, expected to play. And then Christian Izien got put on IR due to an injury. Likely will not be back this season. V. Jones got released. And then Shaq Barrett got signed to the active roster. Do not think he's going to play today. I think they'll give him a week to get familiar with the offense. But again, I wouldn't be too surprised if he plays today, because again, he is quite familiar with the system. But we're going to see what kind of shape he's in. Again, he just got signed yesterday, so I doubt he will play. And also, the Bucs signed the punter to the active roster because he ran out of practice squad elevations. As for the Panthers, Chuba Hubbard was put on IR. Josie Jewell is ruled out with an injury. Their rookie nickel corner is out with an injury. Then Moton and J.C. Horn are both doubtful to play. I don't know if either one made the trip to Tampa, but both are doubtful to play, so unlikely to play today. So that pans well for the Bucs, but we'll see how they mess it up. So, review of the offense from last week. Offense, just in general for the Bucs. Wherefore art thou? Their offense was not the greatest last week. They went down to the Cowboys early. I believe it was 10-0 at one point, and then they tried striking back. But when their offense was good, the defense wasn't good. When the defense was good, the offense wasn't good. So it was just they dug themselves a hole they couldn't climb out of when all things were involved. Mike was not overall involved too much. We weren't really looking his way a whole lot. He finished the game with, I believe, 69 yards. But I'm going to give some credit to Deron Bland for just providing some really good coverage out there. He did a really good job making sure that Mike wasn't much of a factor. As for Bucky, he for some reason didn't have a single carry or was on the field for the last 10 minutes of the game, especially in the 2-minute drill. Not sure what the thought process was there when he's been one of our most electric running backs. Obviously, they like Rashad more for pass protection, but at the same time, why are you taking your best runner off the field? And then Jalen McMillan, again, playing really well, keeping his breakout towards the end of the year going, looking like a decent wide receiver 3 for us. We're going to have to step up this week, because I also forgot to mention Sterling Shepard is out with a hamstring injury. So, hopefully Jalen can step up and fill that wide receiver 2 role behind Mike. As for the Panthers, Yuns, again, he's just been decent. He's been playing really well. Looking like the franchise guy for Carolina, potentially. He's looked really well overall the last couple of weeks, especially against certain teams, especially against my Bucs a couple weeks ago. And then the wide receivers have looked decently well. Again, they've made some plays, like Legette's had a few drops. Thielen's making plays where he needs to. But, it's a young core outside of Thielen. They're developing. They're going to do what they got to do. We'll have to see how they do overall. The O-line is a little beat up right now, but they're doing their job of trying to keep Bryce upright and allowing the running backs to get out past the line of scrimmage and just make plays. Hopefully the O-line continue to do that, even though they are a little beat up right now for the Panthers. As for the defenses, the Bucs defense as a whole last week was just god-awful. Everything from the DBs to the linebackers to the pass rush. Nobody was making plays when they needed to. I'm not going to be too mad at Levante, because he did have a bad play where he did trip. But again, like, just stuff that can happen. J.J. Russell had a drop pick that he should have easily got. That would have put the Bucs in easy field goal range. It was one thing after another last week. Just not a great game from the Bucs overall. The defense just looked awful. Wide receivers were wide open. Tight ends were wide open. It was just a lot of miscommunication, as Todd says every week, but still doesn't fix. And the pass rush was basically non-existent against the Cowboys and Cooper Rush. It is what it is. As for the Panthers, their D-line, honestly, I haven't looked a whole lot into it, but their D-line, I think, has been solid for them. The DBs are really beat up right now, as are their linebackers, so that's going to be two massive question marks for them. Their D-line, obviously, Jadeveon Clowney's there, and he'll always be a threat, but their defense as a whole has been underperforming as a unit. So, the Panthers are going to really want this unit to step up and just be able to make plays where they need them to. Question marks for the Buccaneers. Literally what I've been saying the past couple weeks now. Pass rush, again, we just can't get to the passer. DB coverage, again, we just leave people wide open for no freaking reason. And offensive consistency, again, one week our offense is really good, the next week it's bad, then good, bad, good, bad. It's what it is every time. It's really getting annoying at this point, and Todd just needs to figure this out. We're going to need to get the offense back on track if we want any chance today against Carolina. As for the Panthers, overall, their offense, I think, is just a big question mark, especially without running backs. They don't have their starting running back. Their O-line's beat up, so their offense is going to be a little bit stagnant because of that. They're going to need someone to step up in the running back room. I'm not quite sure who's going to step up for them, but they're going to need somebody to step up without Chuba Hubbard and also still without Jonathan Brooks after he retore his ACL, unfortunately, a couple weeks ago. So we're going to see how the Panthers offense will do today. Obviously, they still got Bryce, they still got Thielen, they still got Leggett. They can make plays when they need to. Run defense. Again, their run defense is going to need to step up today. They're going to need to be able to contain Bucky, contain Rashad. I think that's going to be a big question mark, is are they going to let those guys make the plays they need to make to be able to get the Bucs a win? And then their DBs with Smike. Again, their secondary is really beat up. They don't have their starting corner. They don't have their starting corner too. They're very beat up secondary. They're going to need somebody to step up and be able to try to defend against Mike. That's going to be a matchup I think Baker's going to take advantage of, and the Panthers are going to have to try to find ways to limit the amount that Mike's going to be able to take over this game. So the keys to the game for the Bucs, again, it's feed Mike, feed Bucky and Rashad, keep time of possession. Again, you want to feed your best playmaker, you want to feed your best running back, and you want to feed your second best running back that's better on the outside. And you want to keep time of possession. You want to keep Carolina offense off the field and just be able to put up points. It's pretty simple. And also, feed Mike, get him his stuff. Let Mike take you down the field. Let Bucky and Rashad take you down the field in the short yardage. Let them make the plays they need to make. As for the Panthers, they need to be able to disrupt the Bucs offense. They're going to need to be able to contain the run. They're going to need to be able to slow down Mike. That's what they need to do if they want a chance to win. They just need to disrupt the Bucs offense and make them uncomfortable in order to get their offense back on the field. And they're going to need to lean on their wide receivers today. Again, they don't have a lot of experience at running back right now because they do have a lot of injuries there. They're going to need no Miles, no Jonathan Brooks, no Chuba Hubbard. They're down to their 4th and 5th string running back, if you even want to consider Miles the top 3 running back for them. But so they're going to need to be able to lean on their wide receivers to make plays because they don't have much going on at running back right now with all the injuries going on. So players to watch for the Bucs, it's Mike, Bucky, and Jalen. Mike obviously is going to always be a threat, and he's going to be a big player to watch because, again, he's just going to be going up against secondary that's a little depleted right now. Going to need to see what he can do. Bucky going up against a run defense that's a little suspicious. Going to see what he needs to do when he gets out in space. And then for McMillan, again, he's just been doing really well lately. And also, again, the secondary is a little bit incomplete right now and beat up for the Panthers. So I expect him to have a decent game. Panthers, Bryce Young, always going to be a player to watch. See how he develops. See how he performs against this Tampa defense that is very much hot and cold. See if he can make the plays that he needs to make to be able to try to get the Panthers a win here. And then they're going to need somebody in their running back room to step up. I'm not quite sure who's going to step up for them as they're down to their 4th and 5th string guys. Let's see what happens there. But they're going to need somebody to step up there for them to be able to try to get some running game going. And their wide receiver core as a whole is going to be a big one to watch. Because, again, you know, Thielen's been here a couple times. He knows what he's doing. Leggett, obviously a rookie, but he's been doing really well for them. We're going to need to see how everybody does as a whole just to be able to get the Panthers down the field where they need to. And just for the whole, I think the Panthers O-line for the Bucs D-line is going to be a good one to watch. Just because, again, the Panthers O-line's a little beat up right now, and the Bucs D-line's been underperforming as a unit outside of Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. But again, I think that's going to be a big matchup to watch. And then also the other one is Mike Evans versus the Panthers secondary. Mike always likes to cook against the Panthers. You know, had 100 yards a couple weeks ago here against Carolina when we went to overtime against them. So I expect him to have a similar performance today. Hopefully around 100-something yards again for Mike. But we'll have to see what happens there. Anyway, I will be streaming the Bucs versus Panthers game today. It's going to be a little bit of a weird setup today because I am going to be streaming it at 1, but then I have a family thing to go to around 2, but I hope to be back around 3-ish to finish off the stream from there. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that noti bell on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Try and hit that by the end of the year. Try and hit 1,600 by the end of next month. Let's get it, fam. And as always, I will see all you guys later. Stay crazy, fam.